Have you ever thought of what makes a fight interesting? Is it the powers, abilities, or the context? Well, my answer is that it's stakes. The weight behind a fight, and what adds to that is weaknesses, flaws. They can add on to fights in interesting ways, but other times they become irrelevant because of certain things in said story. In this video, I dive into why I believe that flawed abilities are the best kind of abilities. There are several different kinds of flaws abilities could have. For example, talk Kurapika's chain jail. It forces someone ensnared into a state of zetsu, so they can't use NN. It can only be used on members of the Phantom Troop, or he will die. This limits who can be targeted by it, and this is also addressed later in the series. When his goals evolve as he realizes to reclaim the Kurta clan eyes, he has to widen his view on other people. Some other examples of flawed abilities are One for All, not being able to be used at full strength. Blood manipulation, using the user's blood which could lead to it killing the user. The Chidori, giving the user tunnel vision. Bakugo's explosions, needing him to sweat. All of these abilities have some sort of flaw. And that is like a rope that just pulls you in. How would they get around it? With the right setup, this can cause fights to draw us in, but with a bad setup, the best you can get is cool animation. Here, I think these two are the best series when it comes to using flawed abilities correctly. So Hunter x Hunter is one of the greatest when it comes to adding depth and flaws to abilities. Since I'm genuinely invested, I read the wiki and also watched some videos on this to get you guys the best examples. In Hunter x Hunter, there are these two things: aura capacity and aura output. These are two different stats. Like a bucket and tap, your aura capacity is how much it can contain, while aura output is how much of that you lose. So one person could have a high capacity but low output, which leads them to be able to last longer, while a second person could have a low capacity but high output, which allows them to do more damage. This is a clear flaw, but also adds complexity, as someone could change their output depending on what they are doing. A normal punch uses less aura than Janken, for example. This causes more tactical decisions to be made during fights. Are you willing to risk all your aura in a few powerful punches, or would you wait for the right moment? Flaws add tactics into fights. This is shown in Gon vs. Knuckle. In Gon vs. Knuckle, we see how battle experience evolves, how Gon fights. His Haitsu ability is Janken Gu, and it allows him to make a sword, explosive fist, or a beam attack. The flaw with this is how it takes the aura from all around his body and puts it in one place, making him vulnerable to attack. However, we see how Gon evolves how he uses it, to add layers. For example, he can use the change as a feint into a kick. His speed is also a factor that affects this too. Paired with his evolution with the Jan and Ken parts, allow him to make this way more threatening in a fight. It's something that scares opponents and something he can use in multiple ways. We get to see this in several other things in Hunter x Hunter. But now is time for Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. In Jojo's, we see several tactical fights where people have to deal with flaws, weaknesses, and more during fights. This could be range or dealing with someone else's abilities. Josuke's stand is called Diamond Unbreakable, based on the song with the same name. It has the ability to heal anything but the user, so the user is unable to heal any damage done to themselves during a fight. This is a clear flaw with the ability. Josuke could receive a fatal attack and die, while if it was someone else, he can heal them just fine. Moreover, it's clearly not suited for attacking, which leads his only option to attack is by using the stand itself. However, it has a short range. We see how Josuke deals with this in several ways to make it actually interesting. For example, he uses it to send a glass shard at Kira by healing the glass. It's using the ability to its fullest. Narancia's Aerosmith is a stand that takes the shape of a plane. It has a carbon dioxide radar, and it allows him to locate anything that expels carbon dioxide. This can allow him to locate different enemies, but it has a clear flaw in the fact that things like smoke and fire can mask it, and it isn't direct with who is who. This forces him to find ways around this. For example, he knows what location has more CO2. So if he can use this to figure out which one is the fire and which is the person, it forces him to use deductive reasoning. That adds strategy to the fight, which makes it more interesting. Fugo's Purple Haze is a stand that has the ability to generate a deadly gas that will fade when exposed to light.
The problem is that he can't control this gas at all, or attack without using it. This is due to how it expels from these orbs on its nut. When shattered, it unleashes them.
This makes it stand situational, as he can't use it when his allies are around. And it's best when it is inside, or someone has to be close enough so they are affected by the gas before it fades. This makes his fight in the series interesting due to how it was used and the obvious flaws just added onto it. Those are all ways that flaws make the abilities better or more interesting. But what happens when the flaws don't really mean anything? Don't have any weight. Seems like they are just there to add some false stakes. But what are false stakes? Well, there are some stakes the author adds without actually making them important or relevant by either adding things that negate them or never visiting why it's a flaw. A clear example of this is most solo leveling. Except for the fact we don't really get explained to the actual power system in solo leveling. Sung Jin Woo has this necromancer-like power, and in exchange for using it, he loses mana. So you would expect this to be similar to what I said with aura capacity and output. However, it's not that at all. Sung Jin Woo has an ass pull in the version of mana potions, which make this completely irrelevant due to the fact he has a seemingly infinite supply. This removes the clear flaw of the ability and kinda makes it irrelevant. It removes the stakes, which removes the enjoyment of a fight. Let me ask you this. What is better, the pure action in things like Demon Slayer or the tactics used in Jojo's? There is a reason why Jojo's fights are more memorable. They make you think and actually draw you in. Solo leveling is just flashy colors, and I'll live by this. It's already hard to remember what even happens in these fights, and this is because they are basically nothing burgers.